I don't know why I came in this club with you, girl. Don't know why I came here with these diamonds on my chains, surrounded by bap. So let me check out the pain. Is it 'cause the nipple hands? Why did I came? I don't know why I came. Hold on. In this club with you, girl. Don't know why I came here with these diamonds on my chain. Surrounded by bad bitches, I can't even motivate. Is it 'cause a nigga handsome and wealthy? Handsome! Bro, I'm saying this, I lost my trade, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Um, but it's okay. Because, unironically, I was just talking to one of my homies. Well, I just texted him, and I just realized this right now. I made the same mistake that I made a month ago. Just keep a lookout at, let's see, this model right here. Just look at that, and just look at that, and then just look at the SMT here, and just look at the SMT here. Yeah, it was pretty bad. I ended up getting literal raped by news, and I literally lost because I got raped by news on this trade a month ago. This was pretty unfortunate. This was crazy because I literally lost my losing streak. I mean, I lost my winning streak on this trade. And on this trade, I wasn't in a winning streak. I had only traded once prior to this week, but it's okay because this loss really didn't make up for anything, to be honest. Like I'm still way heavy in profit for the month, but yeah, let's just talk about it because this is just insane. But let's talk about my daily bias and how let's talk about my daily bias and how everything was the way it was. Um, so straightforward, I did not have a set bias at all whatsoever. The main reason why I say that is because we had already swept previous day lows with 8 a.m. Which is 8 a.m. open news. I mean not open news, but 8 a.m. open candle. We swept all of sell side liquidity as well as previous day lows, right? But just because I see that doesn't mean I want longs. I want to know what's getting told to me. What was getting told to me? We ended up having an hourly SMT right here, which is the reason why we ended up sweeping out all sell side and previous day lows on 8 a.m. open. I'm pretty sure we had news as well, but that news candle was very, very, very low. We had news at 8:30, and I'll show you the 8:30 wick. But yeah, we had an hourly SMT, and then from there we had these protected highs. We also had this high just in case we wanted to inverse a 15-minute gap to be able to draw on liquidity. I had followed the majority of things here, although I did break one thing, which caused me my loss. It wasn't trading before news. It wasn't trading before the macro because news just does nothing besides add volatility to the market to whatever direction that you're going. If you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. That's just how it is. Even if you're deep in profit, price can go up, and it won't stop you out, but it can end up going back to where it was. Even if you're knee deep in drawdown, price can end up going to your profit target. So prices, I mean, news doesn't really add anything besides volatility, is what I'm really noticing. On the 4 hour, we were consolidating. However, we ended up having this crazy BPR range right here. I just marked this out just in case price wanted to come up to it because I was backtesting and I saw the same scenario play out earlier. Not like today, but I was backtesting yesterday. And I had seen the scenario play out, and I had seen that price eventually dipped on into it. So maybe we'd want to come for it in the future. I'm not too sure. This is a live market, so let's just go with what today was giving me. 4 hour was consolidation. We had nothing, to be honest, besides the hourly SMT. Hourly very much consolidating. Again, we had nothing besides the SMT. So a lot of things that are being given to me is the fact that we are bearish, right? And even if we separate the sessions, we look and see what the previous sessions did. They didn't really do much. And if we look at the 5 minute and just continue, we can just see that we were just not really heavily accumulating, but we didn't really do anything that much. However, we did create the SMT, and that's what really caused my main bias. I mean, my main driven narrative to be bearish, just because we had that SMT that was just holding up, and these were protected highs. So with that in my mind, I go down to the 15-minute. I look at what we have. I don't have any strong draws on liquidity. I'm not the type of person to really target for data lows unless it's CPI or PPI or NFP. So that data lows was just not even in my mind. We ended up having this 15-minute low right here, and just because of how strong of a wick this is and how strong, not strong drawn liquidity, but on how it was liquidity on the 15-minute. I kind of wanted this to be a potential target for me, as well as I wanted this hourly low and this other hourly low. But however, since the trade was on ES, the only thing I wanted to be targeted was this 15-minute low, and then we didn't have anything other besides this low, but I wasn't really targeting this far. That was unrealistic to me. However, I honestly looked on the daily, and I see that we have projected from this SMT, not SMT. I see that we projected from this gap. We projected off of a bear bullish, so I wanted to target the actual opening of it, but we ended up filling it all the way, and it looks like we're not gonna go back down there. I could be wrong, because if we look at the monthly, how I predicted, if you guys have seen that video, we're gonna inverse this gap. We'll probably continue for higher targets, but onto the 4 hour, onto the hourly, onto the 15-minute, because this is where price starts to really get everything done with. We ended up, oh, we're on the 15-minute. Okay, price ends up continuing on the first presented 15-minute for rally gap. This is what I've seen, and this is what I've said in a lot of TikTok videos. If you look at this, whether we inverse it or respect it, this would tell the bias of where we are going. And like I said, since market open, we came and respected it. It told the bias of me being short, so I was like, okay, that's pretty calm. Let's go down to the 5-minute. 5-minute was, we were holding up into this gap pretty strongly. We were holding up into this gap pretty strongly. We weren't inversing it for quite some time until we ended up actually doing so. With that being said, I was officially bearish. This was my 5-minute PD array that I wanted to be on. We ended up not taking the trade on NASDAQ because we ended up not having any retrace whatsoever. But I guess we can just mark out my whole my whole thought process of doing this trade. 5-minute PD array was secured. We ended up wicking down below, but we ended up having a nice displacement, which was, for me, I was calm on that. I was okay. We had nothing. We ended up creating the SMT on the 3-minute, which ended up being on the 1-minute as well. Yes, I do still look at the 3-minute from time to time, only if there's something being told. We ended up inversing this 3-minute as well. There's very as much could have been an entry for me, but I don't take 3-minute inversions. That's just not my thing. On the 1-minute, oh, hello. Okay. On the 1-minute, I know I said previously I like to take trades on the index that didn't sweep the liquidity. However, since we have swept buy side right here on ES, we ended up creating a CISD. Prior to that, I wanted to see a retrace into that CISD. We ended up not getting that. But however, we did get a clean displacement, and honestly, I would have entered off the clean displacement alone because I said prior, the displacement really tells a lot. And with the displacement, the next candle will be followed up with another displacement in profit. However, since we had that displacement, we ended up creating a gap. I wanted to see price bounce back into this gap. However, we did not. We ended up continuing lower and ended up creating an SMT. Foreshadowing. Yeah, this one hurt. It didn't hurt, but I was like, damn. Now I'm realizing it in hindsight, I made the same damn mistake. We ended up creating an SMT. I'm still bearish because news didn't come out. We're just consolidating, and I'm having a feeling. It wasn't really a strong feeling. It was just something in the back of my mind just to be wary about. Okay, maybe news will eventually stop me out if I enter. But I wanted an entry. I mean, I wanted this first presented. Okay. Anyways, there's gonna be a freaking edit. But anyways, we ended up taking out buy side. We ended up creating a CISD. Prior to that, I look on NASDAQ. We didn't have anything that I really favored as a good CISD. We ended up having this one, but to me personally, we ended up coming into this order block and respecting it. But with the way we were wicking strongly, I didn't like this at all. We didn't have any gaps as well, or else I would have took it on NASDAQ. But still, that was my thought process. As well as that, I mean, that was pretty much it, to be honest. I entered off the retracement after we ended up filling in this gap and we got a closure out. I just entered, and my entry was like right here, and then my stop was literally right here, because I was like, damn, SMT should be protected, but we had this other corresponding SMT, so I was like, I'm kind of screwed here. So I just tried my stops right here, because my original one was right here, but I just, I was just a little bit safe. Take profit 1 was literally this 15-minute, and then take profit 2 was just a little clipper to that daily gap if we wanted to continue, which I do think we could have if we didn't create that 1-minute SMT, which was pretty unfortunate. And yeah, this really caused me to be stopped out as well as news. This was like one of the rules that I have broken. I shouldn't even have entered just because we had an SMT. And even if we did have that SMT and we ended up filling, we continued lower to push down, I would have been fine without trading because I originally wanted to see. I didn't want a strong displacement on this second candle. I wanted the second candle to get a gap. Then I wanted to see this third candle I wanted to see this third candle come into this gap as well as Nasdaq, and we just continue lower to these lows that I had wanted. But unfortunately, that was not the case. We ended up creating a 1 minute SMT. We ended up getting stopped out by news. And if we look at right here,
No, wicks do the damage, bodies tell the story.
Okay, hold on.
Right? Wicks did the damage. What did we create on top of that?
Okay, I don't even know what I was talking about here. Well, I do know what I was talking about, but it's not about. It's about the second model, not the first actual presented entry. But if you look here, the same thing had literally happened. If you go to we can go to the 1 minute. Except here, I entered on an order block. But we ended up having the 1 minute corresponding SMT. Yeah, we ended up having the 1 minute corresponding SMT, which ended up, not marking it right, not marking it right, but ended up, screwing me over. And as well, if you zoom in at 10 a.m., we ended up literally screwing up at 10 a.m. news, and that's what stopped me out. And then from there, the second time, everything had played out, and then I didn't enter on the second one. If you guys have seen that video, and then we ended up continuing downwards. That was pretty unfortunate. Literally, same thing that happened here. Post notes. One thing that I do want to get better at is utilizing the fib tool way more often. I see this is something that I want to get used to as well. Like just utilizing the fib tool a lot, taking it from the swing low, or like the proper swing low from the CISD to the most swing high from where the SMT was created, or like the most prominent swing, not prominent, the most recent swing high, and then from there, if I see a crazy displacement from the 79% fib, I would just enter. That's something I want to utilize, so I'm gonna have to backtest it today or sometime this weekend. I do want to utilize it more because although it's not a continuation confluence, it is definitely I mean, yeah, it's not really a continuation confluence because it's a displacement. I don't really see a retracement, but it's one of those retracement tools where I could be like, okay, you know what, this is something I would enter because as you can see here, we were respecting all order flow, would just come in and just tap in. We didn't really displace closing below it, but when we did, what happened? Boom, we ended up continuing lower. So it's like if I had potentially did that, although obviously I didn't do that, but if we did, say my entry would have been around here. My stop honestly probably should have been my stop would have been like right there. To be honest, it would have been tough. And then again, so it would have been a way better entry. And then if we had created that SMT, I would have just moved my stops to break even and just saw. I probably would have got break even on this trade, to be honest. But overall, it's not really bad, to be honest. Like, not bad for daily buys. I did come in without having to set buys. I was just looking at what was being played to me because the 4 hour we didn't do anything significant. Hourly it was just consolidation, but we had the SMT, so that was really what drove my main thing to be bearish. But overall, this was pretty solid, except the only thing that I really, really, truly messed up on was just going in after that bullish SMT, and I shouldn't have done that. But I mean, yeah, other than that, pretty solid day, pretty solid week, pretty solid end to May. We ended May off in profit, to say the least. And that was pretty good. This month, I wanted to end off in profit. I told myself, I was like, bro, like, my losses, like, the thing is with my losses in the previous month, my losses were somehow bigger than my wins, and I realized it was because I was risking way too much, and then when I would be in a trade, I would be risking way too little. And I ended up realizing that I was profitable for the last couple months. It's just that I was really, really over risking, and when my stop loss placement was just ass, it just made my P&L just look horrible. But when I did the math and just looked at how many times I won compared to like the losses, I won way more than I lost. But it's just like the loss amount was just so bad. But I mean, yeah. Overall, in May, I wanted to see myself be profitable. I told myself I was like, we're gonna end off May in profits no matter what. We're just gonna just try to lock in, not try to lock in, but we're gonna lock in and actually like end May off in like in profits, and that is exactly what we did. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next week. Next week is June. I probably won't even trade on. Oh my god, damn! I leave. Damn. So I'm going at. Oh damn! My homie texted me. I already responded to them, but my homie, not my homie. I leave on the 2nd and I return on the 4th. I don't think I'm gonna trade Monday. I'll probably trade Tuesday, but it'll be on my phone. And Wednesday, I return Wednesday, but at evening, so I'll try to trade on Wednesday on my phone. But to be honest, Thursday and Friday are really the only times I'll really trade. Like I'll be home because I'm traveling again. That's pretty crazy. Let's see. Powell speaks. Okay, that's really good. I'm not trading on Monday. That's really good. Jolts. That's gonna be really good. Oh, it's NFP week next week. Oh, damn. We'll see how next week goes, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Not tomorrow. I'll see you guys literally the next time I upload. If you guys want to follow the TikTok, ease on trades, baby. Tap in. But other than that, I'll see you guys. Peace.